Good morning, friends. How are you guys? All right. Just this is gonna be a quick video I'm gonna do um, regarding the change that Nigeria is seeking for. Now, we all talk about change, 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 change. We need a new government, or we need to reset or restructure Nigeria. Okay, if you ask every citizens of Nigeria now, all they will tell you is that they are tired of these governments, or they are tired of this type of democracy. There need to be a reset. There need to be fresh ideas in a country. There needs to be few new faces in the political uh, uh, system. Change doesn't come easily. Now, I'm going to borrow the word that the current president used during his campaign to 2023. And I concur in every sentence he made. He said, power is not served a la carte. You have to fight for it, you have to grab it, and you have to run with it. That is a complete sentence, and I agree with it. Okay? Politics is not for the weak mind. Politics is not for those who speak quietly. Politics is not for those who wants to go the right way. Politics is a dirty game and is deadly. So when the current president says that, I truly and truly 100% agree with him. Let me use myself as an example. All right? I'm just painting a scenario, not a reality. So I don't want you guys just to misunderstood it in the other way around. The day I decide I want to seek for the highest office in Nigeria, like the presidency, you must be ready to split blood. If you are not ready to shed blood, don't go into politics. That is one fact, especially the number one pinnacle office in the country. The day anybody in Nigeria wants to contest for the highest office in Nigeria, from these current politicians we have now, if you are not ready to shed blood, you're just wasting your time. Tinubu is ready to shed any blood in order to remain in that power. It's not like there's a difference between him and Jonathan. Jonathan has a solemn heart, a quiet man, peaceful heart. But this man doesn't give a damn. For him to say power is not served a la carte, you have to look at his histories when he was a governor in Lagos State. Okay? So, anybody who wants to restructure Nigeria, change the political system in Nigeria, bring everything down, and let's start to rebuild. If you are not ready to shed blood, you're wasting your time. Blood must flow to gain that power, be in that seat, and then try to implement those things you want to implement for the country. The country is going to, when you are there and you are implementing those changes, the country are not going to remember the blood you shed. Let's look at what happened in Ghana. When Ghana was, at a point in time, Ghana was one of the most corrupt West African countries next to Nigeria. More than even the politicians in Nigeria. It takes one man to restructure Ghana to what they are today. It takes one man in Ghana to step on toes that nobody is willing to step. And that was the late Army General that seized power and eliminated those corrupt leaders. He eliminated them without no mercy to set the country to where they are today. Before his death, he was walking freely in every street. Nobody remembered those blood that he shed. There comes a time one person is going to say, enough is enough. I'm going to step on toes that nobody's not willing to step. I'm trying to remember the name of that Ghanaian president. He's a military man. He came in there and wiped away all those corrupt politicians. Send them to the eternal grave to reset Ghana to what they are today. So when we want to come to Nigerian politics, if you are not ready, to toe the line of, you bring one of my supporters down, I'm going to bring two of your supporters down. How you try to regain power from corrupt leaders is not by trying to play nice or try to be humble or try to be peaceful. No. The only force a bully understand is force. The only word a dictator understand is force, not law, not peace. If you don't match him by his whatever he brings to the table, you're wasting your time. He's coming to the table with a Tomahawk missiles, and you are coming to the table with a machete. Who's going to win? If you want to say, you know what, enough is enough in Nigerian politics, this corruption is too much. Yes, we know your antecedent, you're a good man, but your pleading is not going to get you to that seat. The only word a dictator, a bully understand is force. When he brings down two of your fans and you return that favor by bringing down four of his men, he will go back and think twice and say, you know what? This guy is not the guy I'm going to play with. When he shut down your state, you return back and shut down his states, he will say, okay, you know what? This guy, I thought I can push him away. And when he sees that you are not a pushover, they will not try to. That is how you attract the international government to get involved on a round table. It's going to end on the round table, and that is where you stipulate your own law how this election is going to be conducted. Not by INEC rule anymore. It's by both of you are going to put the guidelines how free and fair election is going to monitor done, and then monitored by the international groups. Then that rule and regulation of INEC is going to be set aside. But as long as you want to go on a peaceful consultations and peaceful talking, oh, I'm a law-abiding citizen, I'm this and that, you're just wasting your time. As we are talking, as we are trying to be a loyal servant, okay, a law-abiding individuals, these guys is resetting the rules of the regulations behind the door. Just yesterday, I was listening to an interview in Arise TV with Yaga Africa that INEC introduced two new regulations in these coming elections. That when a result is posted to the IRF, it does not go to IRF immediately. There is somebody in the background that is going to verify those results, and then before they post it. Does that make sense? So, for instance, a result is sent to IRF. It doesn't go to the system immediately. No wonder in Abuja elections, election has been concluded, it takes about 7 hours for the result to start showing in on the IRF. So while the results are being posted into the IRF, they are behind the door. He has put his men behind the door to start, okay, this party election has come, this guy won in this state, so they have their own election materials to rewrite the result. This time around, it's not going to be cancelled by pen. They have everything in their set. So they make it official by reducing your result, inflating his result, and then post it later that he won that state. So how can you send a result on IRF and then somebody is going to verify it? What are you verifying? That's what this Yaga Africa guy was asking. You guys have to clarify, what are you guys verifying behind the IRF? Why is the result not posted immediately? So while you guys are on the street agitating to go and collect your voting card or come out in masses, these guys are setting rules that is going to favor them by changing the whole rules and regulation behind the system. So while you are going to be voting that day, thinking that you send the results to the IRF, it goes to the IRF, you don't see the result. So where is the result? Somebody is behind the IRF receiving the result and then changing the whole, making it original and authentic. Not more using pen and paper to cancel it, by retyping the result and then posting it later in the IRF and you have there's nothing for you can't say anything because the result sheet is clean. This is the question all of you supposed to be asking now. As I said, I'm not advocating for violence, but from experiencing nations that have conducted changes, nations that have had enough, fed enough, and say enough is enough, these guys have to go out. This is not how change is being brought into the system. Let me give you guys another point. To rechange the system for a country that have been fed up with corruptions and misleadership with their politicians and say enough is enough of this group of politicians. For that nation to change, there are certain things that need to be done. There are going to be sacrifice, death. People are going to sacrifice their life for others to live. That is inevitable. Some people are going to die for others to live. Go and look at all those great nations that are democratic, have a very good democracy today. There are some people that sacrifice their life then for you guys to enjoy the democracy you guys are enjoying today. For a change, a meaningful change to happen in Nigeria, by changing the system, sacrifice must be made. Death is inevitable. People are going to sacrifice their life. 1. 2, some people have to be sent to exiles. Some people are going to be in exiles. Some people are going to be fleeing with their, you see the wrong way with airplane with their family, fleeing the country, never to return back. There are going to be ungovernance in that nation. Will make that governance ungovernable. To say enough is enough. If you guys are not willing to do that, you're wasting your time. Revolution or change in the system does not come by mere of go and get your voter's card, and then at the day of the election, you cast your vote, they counted the votes, they take you to their side, they take you to their head office. You are still glazing at the IRF for the 1 hour pass, there's no result, 2 hours pass, there's no result, 6 hours pass, there's 7 hours, the results start tripping in, and you start saying, oh, this is not what we voted for. They have perfected the mode of this rigged election that you won't see any pen, cancellation of result with a pen anymore. It's going to be neatly conducted, posted to the IRF where you don't have any dispute. Go and check during the Asian revolutions. Tunisia, it started from Tunisia. Okay? Go and see nations that have changed their political system when they're fed up, they are fed up. As soon as the masses troop out, all those corrupt politicians were fleeing out of the country. As soon as they see that the masses are not surrendering, enough is enough, the more you kill them, the more they are coming. What do you see next? You see president, those people who say they have power, start fleeing out of the country with their family. Those militaries that we are protecting them, there comes a situation, a time will come. See these military people that are protecting them will say, no, I have to get out of here. When the push is not excessive against their number, they succeed. When the push from the masses is not excessive, more than the world population they have, they succeed. There must be force in the system for the system to recognize that the game is over. So when I see people coming to the internet saying, "Oh, you know what? We need change. We are fed up of this system. There's corrupt leaders." It is not just by me of saying some things with your mouth. He said it clearly on that last election. Power is not served a la carte. You have to grab it by all means, bear the consequences, and run with it. Peter Obi is a good man, but I don't see him getting that seat with his method. His method can only lead him to that door. His method can lead him to that door, but not to the seat. If you go and see other leaders who have effected changes in their country, it's not by pleading. It's not by saying, oh, we are going to obey the law. No, the person you are contesting doesn't obey the law. Yes, he has the military, he has everything, but he doesn't obey the law. And once he doesn't obey the law, why would he obey the law? As I said, I'm going to repeat it one more time again. The only language a bully, a dictator understand is force, not by the law. When he made the dictator or the bully that, listen, if you cross this line with me, there'll be problem. Without missing words. You draw the line, the red line, say, if you cross this line with me, there'll be problem. You make it emphatically bold, not by pretense, that if you cross this line with me, there are going to be problem. And if he's going to test you on that words. He's going to test you, that dictator or that bully is going to test you on that words. And once he eventually crosses it and you mean it, he will return back to his seat and say, you know what? Houston will have a problem here. I thought that this guy is somebody I can push over. Now we have to strategize. As I said, anybody who wants to effect change in a system, if you are not ready to shed blood, you are just wasting your time. I give you a typical example. The military president in Ghana was one of the corrupt West African countries next to Nigeria. Very corrupt. But it takes one man to say enough is enough. He go in, he's grab the power and eliminate all those corrupt leaders out of the system. Set the rules, set the standard, and that is why Ghana is what they are today. Enjoying a peaceful democracy. Their democracy is even more better than ours. So it's going to take, for us to have that peaceful democracy in Nigeria, it's going to take one person that will dare the system and say, I'm going to draw the red line. You cross it with me, there'll be a problem. And he crosses it by testing you, you send a message. You cannot go about killing my fans who come to vote, and I go on the TV and make a speech and say, you know what, oh, last week, one of my fans is killed, and then he's been buried, and they relax. No. That killing of your fan is a message to see to what extent are you going to respond back. And that's why they keep killing all your supporters, because you're not responding. For every move they make, they are testing the boundaries to see how far they can go. And if you don't shut down those boundaries at the beginning, they'll keep testing you. If you're a contestant for the highest pinnacle office in Nigeria, and you see things are not going the way you want, you see that the rules of law have been discarded, nobody's holding each other accountable, you're going to set your rules and regulations and draw the line. Hey, listen, one of my poll supporters has been killed in an election by one of your men. Now, this is going to be the last time any of my supporter is going to be eliminated. If any of my supporter is eliminated by any of your men, I'm going to return that message back to you. And I bet you they're going to test it again. They're going to eliminate one of your members and see what they're going to do. They do it, you return back. You can go on the national TV and plead as much as you can. Oh, INEC is supporting them. They cannot do anything. You know they are doing it. The only way to get INEC out of that system or to not use that rule to conduct that election is by what? Force. They'll give you force, you turn force back to them. When they see there's an anarchy, tension in the system, they'll call for a roundtable meeting. In that roundtable meeting, you're going to bring out your rules and regulations, how that election is going to be conducted, and the rules to follow. They will tell you, how do we want peace to come back? Okay, what do you want us to do? So, okay, now, INEC rule out of the system. That's where you guys draw your line, draw the parameters on how this election is going to be conducted. They bring in their own contribution, you bring your own, trash on the table. That INEC is out of, INEC cannot conduct that election. Do you want America to break? That is when they call the right, you know that, okay, that is how to get INEC out of the system. When they see there is tension, volatility in the country and say, you know what, the way I'm saying this thing is going, if these guys are not going to accept this election. So what do we do? When they see you are returning force back to them, they're going to call for a round. That is how you attract international people to put an eye on what is going on politically. Because when they see that the tension is high, governance is becoming hard, then they're looking for a roundtable meeting. It's in that roundtable meeting that all the political parties and the incumbent is going to say, this is the rules we want. This is how we want this election to be conducted. These are the rules to be followed. By that time, you are setting aside the INEC guidelines. We want to set the rules here. How it's going to be conducted, who's going to monitor, who's going to count the votes. For peace to stabilize until that election day. So that is my little contribution on these issues of election. I'm not advocating for violence, but if you look at the nations that have effected change their democracy, they didn't do it by peaceful talking. They didn't go about pleading the government to be on their side. Now, look at those countries that have sent their presidents to exiles from the Asian Revolution. Go and check those countries that have sent those who say they are most powerful. Where are they now? They flee the country. When the masses say enough is enough, the military cannot stand you. Because even the militaries will be scared of themselves. That is how you see the international media will be coming into the country and see how many people, how the military, because every military man is also conscious of himself. But when you guys are playing safe and trying to say, okay, let's abide, why would you want to abide by the rules and regulations when the person you are contesting doesn't abide by the rules and even they're even setting their own rules how the election is going to be conducted? So as I said, anybody who wants to contest for the highest pinnacle office in Nigeria, there are things you have to do. If you know you don't have the mind to do it, don't get in there. Those that have aspired have been in that seat. Those have been in that seat, if they tell you what they went through to be in that seat, it's not by just me clapping their hands. No. You got to take the awkward ways to get into that seat and then reset the country to the way you want it. When the masses see the country is moving in the right direction, democracy have returned, there is law and order, they will forget about those that. Now the masses want a new system. They are fed up with these corrupt politicians. Things are not moving right. They don't care how you get in there. They don't give a damn how you get in there. They just want you to be in that seat to reset the system. So when he says it, this man doesn't play with power. And if you see the way he's marshalling out his power, he doesn't play with it. He said power is not served a la carte. He's sending you a message that if you want this power, you have to fight me to get it. Bring it on. And he is ready to fight you to death to stay in that power. So why would you be showing your weaknesses? For a country to reset this political system and get rid of these corrupt leaders, people have to flee to exile. If people are not going to exile, you are wasting your time. If these corrupt leaders are not fleeing to exile, abandoning the office and fleeing to exile, you are wasting your time. There must be sacrifice. There must be governance in the system. So if you guys are not ready to implement these three things into that change, you cannot get it. You can only try, but you can't get it. Because the way things are going, we might be ending up in one room, in one party, in a lifetime presidency. Because the legislator is all failed. There's no accountability, there's no check and balance. It's also here, you can see all the states, everything has been grabbed under his own authority. And that is how it starts. So if you guys want to wake up from your slumber and say, it's going to start from the leader himself, Peter Obi, Kwankwaso, those who mean well for the country. As I said, I don't belong to any party. I'm an independent. Okay? I can speak, for and against. If I see where this man is doing well, I'm going to praise him. But if Peter Obi wants to be in that seat, not only getting to the, not only arriving at the gate, but you cannot see it to the gate, like what happened in the biblical story that, I think it was Joshua? Who was that getting to the promised land? Forgotten the name. He said, okay, he showed him the promised land, but he did not step his foot into that promised land. There's something in the Bible, I've forgotten that name. Because he disobeyed God, and God said, okay, for disobeying me, I can show you the promised land from afar, but your foot cannot step into that. The same thing, Obi can try as much as he can. He can get to the gate of the villa, but he cannot be on that seat. There are certain things that need to be done to get to that seat. Your supporters doesn't care how you get in there. They want you to be in there. But it's not by pleading. It's not by playing good citizen. No. And I bet you, even those that are sitting in this judiciary or in these forces, most of them might be indirectly want Obi to get there, but they want you to see. If they don't see any reaction from you, they're not going to back you up. For these forces to back you up, they want to see your reaction. If you are not putting that force, they won't back you up. When they test you in several areas and you are failed, they kill most of your members, you don't return fire for them, and you just wave it away, they keep testing. They say, this guy is not serious. I can't be a presidential candidate and you kill my voter, you kill one of my, and allow your member to be working. I will send that message back to you. I warned you the first time that if any of my supporters is being killed again, I'm going to return that favor back to you. And I bet you believe they're going to test you on that word. You kill any of my members, if 2 of my members go down, 4 of your members is going to go down. You shut down my state, I will shut down your state. That is how a bully understands language. Bully doesn't understand plea and law. The only word a bully, a dictator understands is force. That is why you see all these dictators, Saddam Hussein, the Tunisia president, all these Asian dictators that have been there for life. For centuries, they have been on that seat. They keep telling them indirectly, step down, step down, step down, and they keep manipulating their way, holding the people down until force is applied. They start fleeing the country to exiles. Until the citizens say enough is enough, applying that force on them. What happened? You see them fly, playing for their life a wrong way to escape. Where are they? Where are they now? Those strong men. Where are they now? They are all in exiles. The only force language a dictator understands and respect and obey and consider it seriously is force. Not by pleading or obey of law. No, you are just wasting your time. If you don't apply that force to them, you're going to waste your time. If Obi wants to get to that seat, he has to strategize. Not by pleading, not by being a nice man, not by being I'm obeying the law. Because the person you are contesting doesn't obey the law. In fact, he's even putting his own personal law in it. And you, the supporters, also have a role to play. Rules are being changed in the INEC. I was surprised when they said there's 2 new rules. If rules are being changed, you send them, on this IREF. So when a result is sent to IREF, it does not go there automatically. Somebody have to receive it at the back end, evaluate it, check. Oh, he won in this state. No, we can't post this result. Let's change something before posting it. And you guys are just, so that's what I'm trying to tell you. You guys can get your voters card as you want to get. You can get your masses. But the person you want to contest with is behind the door, mounting, doing things that you guys don't know. And you guys are not changing those areas. The problem that is going to befall this election, if the INEC is one of the problems. And how do you get INEC out of that, not to be involved in conducting that election, is force. Because when the dictator or a bully sees that there is tension in the country, that this man is returning fire for fire in my own regard, and everybody is noting, that's when you see they be calling for a roundtable meeting for peace negotiation. In that peace negotiation, that is when he said, this is how we want our election to be conducted. Set your rules and regulations, how results are going to be displayed, this and that. But when you're discussing that, you are setting aside, nothing like INEC anymore. INEC is out of the picture. Who is going to receive the result? Who is going to, we're going to bring people from America, all the world to come and conduct the election for us. Because in that round table, that is where the negotiation moving forward is. You are starting afresh to set the boundaries how this election is going to be conducted, thereby kicking INEC out of the bar. And when he loses INEC and you are putting those rules, he knows the time is up. Then you know the time is up. Because if you conduct that election the way, by bringing new people who are going to be neutral, they're not going to win the election. But by going to the national network, I'll be emphasizing, and it's not going to work. That's my take on it. So this thing was just bubbling in my mind. I say, you know what? I'm going to just bring it out and discuss with you guys that things are going to be done. If you done properly. As much as I want him to be in that seat. But there are some limitations. There are some limitations I see in the nature of the campaign, especially in the Nigerian context. If you want power, you're going to go for it with all means. The day I'm giving myself an example that I want to sit for the highest pinnacle office in Nigeria, if I know that I'm not the type that I want to shed blood, I'll stay away. But if I know that this power doesn't come a la carte, and the person in that seat can go to any miles to get you out of the way, why would I go there and be pleading? Even if I have a good intention to reset the system, okay, first of all, you go to the way you get in there is not what matters. Get in there and then try to now bring those changes you want. I'll give you guys a typical example of Ghana. Ghana was one of the corrupt West African country until this military man, I don't know why I keep forgetting the name of that military man. He came in there and get rid of those corrupt leaders, eliminate them one by one. He stepped on toes and then set those changes the way he wants the country to be run, and that is why Ghana is where they are today. That is why they Ghana are today. So if that is not done in Nigeria, you guys are wasting your time. So see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.